Thank you to Wix Studio for sponsoring this video. As a developer, I've always been pro tools that make your life easier. And personally, I've used no-code platforms on various different projects throughout my entire career. And after diving deeper into Wix Studio, I genuinely found it one of the best AI website builders that I've personally tried. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a no-code website leveraging AI, all with Wix Studio in just about 20 minutes. Now, the website that we're going to be building will be for a theoretical software development agency called KG Digital. And I personally worked in the software development agency space for 5 years, so I have a pretty good idea of how these websites operate. And with all the tools that Wix Studio offers, this is definitely one of the best website builders for agencies. And while I'm not officially launching a real agency today, this is going to be a great exercise to, 1, run through how a good agency website might look like, and 2, demo how easy it is to set up this kind of website using AI and Wix Studio to deploy it. The idea isn't to build some generic web developer portfolio, but to show you how to make an enterprise level website using these tools. So let's kick things off. The very first thing you're going to want to do is head to wix.com/studio or click the link in the description to sign up for Wix Studio. And once you create your account, you'll want to come to this landing page here and then click this Start Creating button to kick things off. From here, we'll click this Create New Site button here on the Wix Studio dashboard. And this is where we're going to start generating our website with AI. So there's a few options here, starting from a blank canvas, starting from a Wix Studio template, or generating site structure with AI. So go ahead and click this link here because we want to leverage AI to make this process as seamless and smooth as possible. And this is exactly where we're going to prompt the Wix AI tool with the description of our website. And this is where we want to be as specific as possible, because as you see up here, it says the more information you share, the more precise your results will be. So it is very important to be as detailed as possible because this is going to save you absolutely a ton of time in the future. So for our business, I'll put software development agency. And now we can complete this form with AI. If I click that button, it should fill in these inputs. It does a pretty good job of auto-populating these inputs as you see here, but because I have very specific requirements for my business website, I'm just going to enter this in myself. Now, I've already come up with a prompt that I want to put for describing the business, which I'm going to paste in right now. Feel free to go ahead and take a moment to read through this if you want. But the angle that I'm taking with this theoretical agency is that it's not just an agency that builds software, it builds software that gets results based on data collected in that software, which will make more sense as we continue to go through these prompts. So we'll choose the site's main services, and this is going to be to sell a product or service. The name of this business is going to be KG Digital. We'll say, yep, based out of San Francisco. That's good for now. And I actually think this is perfect. Who's the target audience for this agency? Small to medium-sized businesses, startups, and tech entrepreneurs. That's perfect. Maybe instead of entrepreneurs, we'll do tech companies. I think that sounds better. Now, what makes this business unique? This, again, is auto-generated from when we clicked this button up here. But I'm going to go ahead and paste in another prompt. Again, this was generated with AI, so there's nothing super special here, but essentially stating that this agency revolves around not just delivering software, but building it with intention and leveraging analytics at every stage of the software development lifecycle, which I think is just a great angle to take if you are building a software development agency. The main goals of this site, I have another prompt right here. I think this is good, but again, we just want to be as specific as possible. So the main goal of this site is to showcase our services, highlight real client results, and make it easy for potential partners to reach out. The website is to not sell products directly. It's to demonstrate the value my agency brings and start conversations that lead to great work. I think that does a great job explaining how I want to build this website. When it comes to the tone of the website, we'll make it professional and confident. And that's it. From here, we'll click the continue button. We want it to build the actual website rather than just the sitemap. So we'll click visual sitemap and wireframes. We'll let Wix Studio work its magic, and then we'll start generating. And just like that, Wix Studio generated an entire end-to-end sitemap for us, laying out the foundation of our agency website and how all the different navigation connects. And on this sitemap, you see we have the homepage, about us, our services, resources, and contact. Then we have this accessibility statement and privacy policy. Probably won't be using these two, but I think it did a phenomenal job laying out the meat, the bones of how our website will function. Again, this gives us a high-level overview, but let's actually publish the website to see how Wix Studio laid it out. We'll click View Site. And right away, it looks like it did a pretty great job of setting up the wireframes for this site. And just from what I can tell, this took away so much of the work that would have been required if we were to just completely generate this website from scratch. Let's go through the navigation. Perfect, this works. We have the resources page. Nice. Contact us. Okay, perfect. Everything is working as you would expect. So go back to the home page. Now the fact that this was generated in 5 minutes is pretty phenomenal when you think about it. And if we were to shrink this down, you can tell the AI generator in Wix Studio did a great job with the responsiveness, and that goes to show that this is definitely one of the best responsive website builders that honestly I've personally seen. We'll expand it again. Okay, so from here, it's time to actually use Wix Studio to edit the contents of this website to make sure it aligns closer with our vision. So I'm going to go back to the Wix Studio dashboard and then go to the edit page here. The very first thing I want to do is edit this hero section, right? This is going to be the first thing that a client possibly sees when they come to our website. And this is where the Wix Studio tools come into play. So I'm going to take this button. I want to move it over here. I would rather have this mission statement be centered on the left side of the screen. And then I kind of want to move this outside of the mission statement. Maybe have a more higher level description of what our agency actually offers. And this is where we can leverage AI even further with Wix Studio. So we can click this and we can generate the text with AI. We can say something like, I want 3 to 4 sentences describing the purpose of my agency. We'll click create text. Oh, we gotta make sure we fill in all the prompts. So this is a software development agency. And then we'll click create text. Some pretty solid options. I personally like option 3 the best. We'll click use text. We'll close out of this. And then we're just gonna drag it around to align it. And then I kind of wanna modify this part here and just start it with our goal is to bring ideas to life. Okay, perfect. Okay, we'll expand this a little bit. We'll move the explore button down like this. We'll center it on the page. I think that is starting to look great. Now right away I want to remove this padding, so I'm going to use this editing tool here and just reduce the padding to 0. And then empower your business digitally. I want to make this something very agency-like. So crafting digital X events. We'll align it like this. And I think this is starting to look good. The next thing we want to do is add a background image to this hero section. So I'm going to pop open this editor panel on the right hand side of the screen. I'm going to click change media. And then this is where we can leverage AI even further and have AI generate us a hero image. So I have a prompt ready to go for kind of the look that I'm going for. I'll paste it in here. Feel free to pause the video and read it. Essentially the look that I'm going for is a modern tech looking background. So I'll click create image. I think this looks great. As you see right here, I say I want the palette to be black and gray, accented by soft glowing hits of orange for a dynamic contrast. And I think this image did that wonderfully. So we'll click use image. We'll crop it a little bit just so it starts to zoom in. Maybe like that. Click save. Change the background of our hero like that. And just so the text contrasts well, we'll update the text color to be white. And then finally, let's go ahead and change the background color of our hero image to black. That's not going to change anything right away. But what we're going to do is reduce the opacity of the image just so it's not as prominent and the text starts to pop a lot more. So the hero image is really coming together. Now I think another really important aspect of an agency is to have visual metrics, basically a quick indication that you have some skin in the game and that your agency knows what it's doing. So the very next section that I want to add is actually a metrics section to showcase my agency's ability. And this is where Wix Studio really shines. We can pop open this plus button right here to click add an element. We can go to one of the pre-created wireframes, click text. And then you see this R stories and numbers wireframe right here. This is a perfect one to showcase the metrics that our agency has. We're going to just drag and drop this right below the hero like this. I'm going to do some quick editing in the styling. So for each item, I'm going to give it a light gray background. So let's change this to light gray. Let's add some padding. So do 15, 15. Or let's go ahead and make it 24, 24. And now I want to add some interactive elements to make this website feel more engaging. So whenever a user hovers over and clicks one of these cards, I want this card to expand. So we can do that by clicking the lightning bolt icon in the top right here. To add animations and effects, we'll expand this click effect, click add, and then we'll click the expand. So now when a user clicks one of these cards, it will expand, and you'll see that once we actually deploy the website. Now I'm going to add in some placeholders so these actually make sense. Here would be average client revenue increase, and we'll make this 34%. We could do launched products. This could be just an arbitrary number, let's say 156 plus, so on and so forth. You get the gist. Now I think this is looking great. Now the next section that I want to add is a carousel going over our services. Now I think Wix Studio, or the AI tool, did a good job essentially laying out this next section that does go over the services. So this would be mobile apps, web apps, etc. But I think I would like to use a different type of carousel. So again, I'm going to leverage the wireframe tool that Wix Studio offers. Go to slideshow, and then I'm just going to drag in an R services right here, and then delete this wireframe that they already generated. So this is where we would highlight, the different services my agency offers. So this theoretical agency would offer mobile development, right? We could say something like building powerful and scalable mobile applications to elevate user experience. And we could even use the generate with AI tool to make this sound better, but I think this is perfect. From here, we can add in another background image. So I'll click the change image option up here. We could use AI to generate something, but I think Wix Studio has a great collection of photos that you can use right out of the box. So I'm just going to search mobile applications, scroll down, and I think this image right here is perfect. It sort of matches the color scheme of what our hero image looks like. So I'm going to click use, and then just to contrast this well with the text, I'm going to change the text color to white. And then we have these arrow icons here. I'll make these white as well. Perfect. I think this is looking great. And I like how our website sort of has this alternating look between dark, light, dark, light. I think it's coming together great. Okay, so the next part I want to add is sort of a client testimonials page. And right here, we can just use this one that the Wix Studio AI tool already generated for us. I just want to simply move this up. So I'm going to go to the editing tool here. I'm going to click layers. And then I'm going to simply move client testimonials right below services like this. Now for this section right here, instead of, again, highlighting our services, I think this would be a great place to put client case studies. And client case studies would be an absolutely great thing on an agency website, because this would allow us to create blog-like content that would just be good for attracting new clients, but also help with our SEO. So we could update this title to be something like client case studies. Then let's generate this text with AI. This section highlights how we've transformed our clients' businesses. And this is going to be an about section. We'll click create text. I think this is a bit verbose, but it is a great start. So we're going to copy the text and then paste it in right here. Then lastly, I kind of want to shrink this so it's about 50-50. And I think that's looking great. And then rather than highlighting the services, this would be highlighting the work that we've done with other clients. So let's pretend we worked with, I don't know, YouTube, and we enhanced their user experience with modern design. We could fill this out later, but this is kind of the idea. So the idea is we would hook up this Learn More button to take the user to sort of the blogs page or the client case studies page. And this is where Wix Studio really shines, because it's not just a website builder, it's much more, and actually includes a content management system that we could directly utilize. So just to touch on that at a high level, let's go back to the Wix Studio dashboard. Let's go down to the CMS section here, which stands for Content Management System. And then inside of the content management system, we could actually create a collection for our client case studies or for our blog posts, right? So we could click this Create Collection button. We could either start it from scratch, import a CSV, or the smart thing, which is leveraging AI to help us create this content. And let's just name it blog posts. And we could say blog posts about client case studies. We'll click next. And then it added in all the fields that we could possibly use for individual blog posts. And I think this did a great job. We'll click Create Collection. And it even pre-populated our blog database with mock content. So we could use this content directly on our website. So let's go back to the editor. We will quickly format this to align with the theme we have of alternating between light and dark. So I'll make this background black. I'll make the text white, and then I'll make this button white right here. Then we could even add in a placeholder image. So let's just say YouTube. All right, this works for now. And then we'll give it an opacity of like 25. Then again, update the text to show as white. Perfect. Okay, so the very last section we want is this contact form. So we have products right here, but this agency website isn't necessarily trying to sell products right through the website. It's trying to generate leads for potential client relationships. So I'm just going to delete this section here. And while we're at that, there is this store icon here. I'm going to delete that. And then there is this section to allow users to create accounts and log in. We can delete that as well. Now, I just deleted a lot of core features, but this just goes to show that if you did want to run a store or sell products right on your website, Wix Studio is a great place to do that. Okay, so let's scroll down to the bottom. Let's remove this section as well. So I'm just going to click it, click delete on my keyboard, just completely remove this section. And then boom, we'll end it with the contact form. And we'll just simply change this contact form. So we'll just dial down the image opacity. Actually, I think this is perfect. We'd fill in this, so we'd fill in our location, our email, phone number, etc. So I think this is perfect. Okay. So another amazing thing about Wix Studio and the AI tool we use to generate this website is that it created a contact form for us that will handle all of these submissions from our website. So right out of the box, it created a contact form and sort of hooked it up to this back-end dashboard view. So if anyone did come to our website and made a submission, we would be able to track those submissions right through here. Now, another way you can access this is by going back to the dashboard. Again, going to the CMS section, and then viewing your contact form right here. Now there's 3 contact forms here because I was playing around with this feature, but it would appear right here down in this Wix Studio form collection. So again, Wix Studio is not only a front-end tool, it also acts as a back-end for data and for collection forms. So we'll go back to the website. We'll take a look again at a high level. And I think this website is really coming together. For 20 minutes of work, this website is looking great. Now, I'm not going to fill out each portion of this website in this tutorial, but you can imagine that you would simply just need to repeat the same processes that I've already went over and just tweak it to your liking. So let's publish this website, take a look at it outside of this editor view. And this is really coming together. And as you see, our effects where if we actually click these cards, they pop out. This carousel works. We just have to populate this dummy data. Yeah, this is amazing. All right, so let's actually deploy this website. And again, Wix Studio makes this extremely easy. So if we head back to the Wix Studio dashboard, let's go to this setup tab right here. We'll start by choosing a domain for our website. So I personally don't like kgdigital.biz. Let's do kgdigitalagency.com. Let's see if that exists. It does. All right, so let's click Make It Yours. Now this is where to actually deploy the website. We will have to upgrade to premium, but the great thing about this video so far is that up until this point, we've been able to create the website for completely free. So if you do sign up for Wix Studio, you'll be able to create your website to see if this product is even for you before you have to deploy. So I'm going to continue through with purchasing this. I'm going to choose the Plus plan right here because for an agency website, this would handle pretty much everything that we would need. It'd be plenty for our CMS and all of our storage related needs. Also, not to mention, the Plus plan supports up to 10 collaborators. So if you're running a business, with multiple stakeholders or team members who need access to the site, this plan definitely has you covered. So I'm going to go through with selecting this. Just click monthly for now. Continue to checkout. And just like that, we've initiated the deployment process of our website. So it says it can take up for 30 minutes for this to show. But rest assured, once we do deploy the website, it will look exactly how it does in the actual preview. So that, my friends, is how you build and deploy an agency website in less than 30 minutes. Now, yes, you would have to go through and refine all the text and all the images, but as you see, the website content itself, the wireframes, was all generated for us leveraging AI and Wix Studio. Now I'm going to spend some time to refine this website to update the images, update the text, but you can check out the final product. The link for that will be in the description. So whether you're a freelancer, a creative, or possibly an agency owner, Wix Studio is one of the fastest and most efficient ways to get a website off the ground, especially by using their tools to leverage AI. Thank you to Wix Studio for sponsoring this video, and I will see you all in the next one.